So last night, which was September 1, about 10:30 p.m., I was sleeping, like snoozing on the couch, and the neighbors in the apartment across the hall, which is 4113, knocked on the door, and when I answered, there was a ton of water flowing down the hallway, like a river flowing down the hallway, originating in the wall, from like on their side of the hallway, the wall, and um, they said that they'd flushed the toilet and it stopped, and then but the water kept pouring inside the wall, so something's broken, and it was literally. I would have recorded a video of it, but at the time I couldn't open the door after I saw it because as soon as you open the door, it flooded in the apartment. And this is at 4112, 35 Greer Place, Northeast. Apparently owned by Northland Properties that owns Sandman, but we never see them. You can't communicate with them. The building manager has no ability to do anything. It seems they've had 8 or so since I moved in May 2022. There's the maintenance guy actually is now a tenant. They let go of the actual maintenance. The cleaning lady that used to come every day to make it all nice and the halls and everything, she's here like once a week or something. But anyway, the water was gushing down the hall like a river, and it would have totally flooded my unit. It totally flooded the one across the hall. They had water everywhere, and it was coming in here, but like it came in when I opened the door, but then I shut the door and then had Lucas, my son, go over the balcony because we're on the first floor and go and knock on all the other doors and tell them to block their doors with all their towels and blankets like we've done, which are all soaked and gross now, and we have to pay to wash things here, and the laundry is full of bed bugs. Like, that's, the apartment I thought I would love, but Lucas was doing that, and I tried to call the landlord at their emergency 24-hour line, and the lady that answered the call center or whatever, she couldn't get through to anyone who worked there, of course, as always. And then so she kept trying to put me on hold, and I said, look, you know what, I'm just going to call 911. I called 911, and within 5 minutes, the fire department was here, and they came in. Still no sign of any landlord or anyone representatives. They came and found the water main, shut it off, and, my son, when he was out, he went out and then he was going around to tell everyone from the front, the other side, knock on the doors. He said that the pipes were bursting in the garage, like in the basement under us. The water was everywhere and flowing out into the street even. The other apartments at the other end didn't get flooded because it kind of went this way, right? Like it went down, he said it was like a waterfall going down the stairs on this side, and it got about halfway down the hall this way, and it was pouring into the basement and the garage. So there's a bunch of water inside the walls now and everything, which will probably cause black mold. Maybe it washed all the bed bugs away because there's bed bugs here for sure. I'm at one end of the hall and we get bitten, and I'm now putting down diatomaceous earth on everything, so I'm getting really bad allergies. That's why I sound like this, I guess. The other end of the hall is Jamie, and she's at the very end on the other side, and she has bed bugs now too. They're in the laundry room. They're tiny where it's very hard to see them. Like, they're not, when you see the adults, people kill them or the cats eat them, right? But the building is is full of bed bugs, and they won't do anything about it. They say, oh, they spray, and it worked last time. Well, it didn't work because they're here, and they don't want to bother with a heat treatment or whatever. So I'm going to save up and do it myself, and probably apply to have them forcibly reimburse me, because this is crap. This apartment otherwise would have been beautiful, and it's in a lovely area. You know, it's big, it's quiet, the neighbors are great, but there is basically no landlord. This is the solution. They have, again, I said, a tenant addressing things. There is still no sign of a landlord, but he's put this in the hallway. It stinks in here. It got way down there. Oh, maybe, I don't know if it got into his house or not. But definitely, their house is probably going to smell bad forever. Oh wow, like I couldn't even open the door last night because it was flowing like a river. It would have gotten the garbage room, which is the side bedroom, but it didn't. This seemed to be the path of least resistance. It went all the way down the stairs, like a waterfall, to the basement. The fire department and 911 was concerned that the water had been electrified because it was in the walls. But this is the only thing being done. Like that's something you're supposed to do, but I highly doubt. There's no one here. Like, they didn't send, the fire department came because I called them, they stopped it. Otherwise, I'm sure it would still be happening. Or one of us would have figured out how to shut off, you know, break into the water main and shut it off or something, because I don't even know. Like, the poor people across the hall, I'm sure they have to live in that now. It's going to be soaking, like if you've ever been in something flooded. It gets mold. Our old house was flooded in 2013 in the basement only, and the whole house, the landlord didn't address it, and the whole house got moldy and smelly, and the water sat there for ages. Like, this is what I pay. I pay like $1,600 a month, and it's a 2-bedroom apartment. And I pay, I'm paying to have cats for no reason. It's a deposit you never get back. People pay for the garage to park their cars. They pay for everything. They shut off the water too. Like, I wonder if this had something to do with it. They, when it was still chilly out in the spring, before we went to Mexico, the water was shut off. The water heating was shut off. We have the vent, these to heat, and it is disabled. It doesn't work. So that area is no longer hot enough to kill bed bugs. And when it gets cold out, which it does, because it's Calgary, it isn't Mexico. I've had to heat the place with the oven because there's nothing else. The Alberta Health, I had an inspector here, and she told them that the heat wasn't working in any of the apartments, but that's because they did it on purpose, and that the ventilation in the bathrooms is broken. The maintenance guy says he knows it's all of them, but the plan he's suggested to the Northland garbage trash company has not actually. No one's actually done anything or been here. They're just letting it run down and turn into a ghetto, just like Main Street does. Anyway, this is just my documentation of today of what's happening here, and how yet another garbage corporate landlord that flips our homes and just takes our money whatever time of the month they feel like it. If, one time it was like 3 months and nothing, and then suddenly it all comes out. This is what we deal with here, and we're paying good. And they assume that most of the people here aren't even really low income, you know. Not and low income people just get abused already because they don't deserve it either. Because they know that they can't hire a lawyer or whatever. Well, I'm gonna save up and pay for heating for the bed bugs. They'll probably come back anyway, but me and Lucas will seal it. And we can't live in Canada anymore. It's too expensive. They know there's nowhere to go for anyone because all these disgusting freaking companies that are monopolizing all the housing. And now you can't find anything that is geared to that like makes sense for income, right? Any income. I make like 80,000 a year. Makes any income. They can raise the rent $1,000. You have in Alberta, you have to worry all freaking year whether your next rental raise will be $1,000, like, and where you'll go, because Canada and Alberta don't care about its own people. They don't have any consequences. They have laws, but there's no consequences for these trash corporate landlords. They shouldn't even exist. The building should be owned by a regular family or people or a small business. It should not be owned by a corporation that owns thousands of buildings, restaurants, whatever. In their restaurants, if we saw cockroaches or bed bugs, the health inspector would shut them down. And that's for like $50 a plate or whatever. Here, it's like we're paying half our income when you have a good income, and it's never, and then no matter what, there's bugs, and it doesn't get shut down or forcibly fixed because nobody wants to offend the little billionaires. Like, get on it. This is what people have to live with, is water in their house and freaking bugs. And, I have to live with diatomaceous earth everywhere because that's the only thing that stops us from getting bitten from bugs coming through the walls. I've just bought a $700 couch and this freaking happens again. Like, get these Main Street, we left Main Street after 10 years because of this garbage, and this place looked better. And it costs more and more and more and less. I've never even once seen the existing landlord since they took over in August. It is turned into ghetto. And the tenants here are good tenants and we're customers. We're not just tenants, or this is not a charity. We pay like for amount every month for a mortgage. So me and Lucas are probably just going to move to Mexico where we can actually buy a house.